Everyone, I have been asking for ideas for videos from you to see what sorts of things that people would like me to do, and one of the requests that I had was to repeat my flip throughs of some of my completed books but with narration, specifically 3 titles that I have done flip throughs for. I did them when I first started my channel, but I just did a flip through with no talking, and I think what the person was hoping for was a little bit more explanation about each of the pictures in the book. So I thought I would do that today with Ivy and the Inky Butterfly, and there'll be some other titles as well that I will do this for. So I coloured this quite a long time ago, so it's going to be a little difficult for me to remember what pencils I used and things like that, but I'm hoping that I can give you a little bit of an insight into the colouring, maybe the techniques and things like that. I mean, this one, for example, this purple here is absolutely beautiful, but I've got no idea what pencil set I used. But what I notice here is there's no white pen. The gold is not how I would do it these days, but it's really quite interesting. So let's have a little look through and see what we can find. So as I say, this was a while ago, and what I did with my Ivy was I coloured certain aspects the same all the way through the book. So here's my butterfly, and the butterfly is the same throughout, using the same colours. What I did was, when I coloured the first butterfly in the book, I'm not sure if it was this page that I did first, I wrote down all the colours that I used in a sketchbook. And I did the same for the other things that repeat, such as Ivy. And then it meant that when I coloured another one, I could come back to the book and see what colours to do. So this butterfly is quite detailed. It's got quite a few different colours, and this was coloured with polychromos, whereas this one here is quite small. So I've taken just a few of the colours and made the wing stripy, because I wanted it to look like it was this butterfly. Okay, so that was that one. I've actually written my name in pen, which is quite interesting. The gold on here is just a gold pen. I think it's a Uniball Signo gold that I used to have. Now this page is quite interesting because I know that I did it, and then when I had almost finished the book, or completely finished the book, I had a look at it again, and I actually reworked it because it was a little bit pale. I wanted this framework to stand out a bit more, so I put a few more colours on it. Now interestingly, Ivy is actually coloured in Staedtler Ergosoft, so although the butterfly is in polychromos, she's in Ergosoft. And I've just noticed that this little cup here hasn't been coloured in, so even when I reworked the page, I didn't notice that that wasn't coloured in. That's quite fun. Now when I was at this stage in my colouring, on my desk I would have my polys on one side, my ergos on the other. They were the only 2 sets of pencils I had, so I would use them, I would mix them together. So quite a few of these pictures might have a mixture of both of the pencils in them, which is fun. Now some of these pages I've done again. I've got a second copy of Ivy, but not all of them. Certainly not this one, for example. This page is quite complex, I think. It's a little bit daunting sometimes, so I haven't done this one again yet, but actually looking at it, there's quite a few really lovely items, so you know, I may have a go. I'm just going to come in a little bit closer. I think we can, there we go, just come in a little bit more. Now here is our Wonder Room. Now I've done this as a video in parts, but not from this book, from my other version. So if you want some different ideas, see what I've done here in my video version, I did all the furniture in the same colour, whereas here you see I've got a blue bookcase and a green dresser and a brown desk, so they're all a little bit different, and my floor is done with different colours of wood, which I think is quite fun actually. Whereas in my video I show you how to do them all in the same colour, and my fish tank looks really similar. That's quite fun. So there's a lot going on that page, isn't there? But I sort of didn't, I just made it lots of bright colours. That's fun. So in the book we do have a lot of sort of borders and things, I think, which I just did randomly with different colours. It's quite fun. It's just quite hard colouring really. So this might have been the first version of the butterfly that I did, and I sort of picked mid colours. So rather than going red primaries, although that's a sort of it's a dark pink and a sort of a mid blue and a yellow and a bluey green and a purple, so I sort of did that. I don't know why I chose those colours. Now when I'm repeating my Ivy book, I'm not going to do them the same, I'm going to do it differently. So you can see again this butterfly is in the same colours as is this one. Now I might in this double page do these two the same, because obviously it's supposed to be the same butterfly going through and getting inky, but I won't do that on the other pages. I will vary it a bit. I had quite a lot of fun with the gold on here. It doesn't look that gold, and this is supposed to be copper, but I was new to colouring. I was just having a play around with golds and silvers and things, so good. It's just a step in my learning. And yeah, this one's quite nice. I remember how much fun that pile of books is to do. I might do that as a little video. It's quite fun. Now this one, it's so liney, this background, but I remember showing this to father-in-law and he went, "How clever of you to make a wood texture in the background." I was like, yeah, but it was sort of intended, but it's sort of a bit more messy than perhaps I would have planned it, I suppose. And interestingly, I must have some Prismas, because I'm sure that background colour is chartreuse, which is interesting. And I haven't outlined a butterfly in gold there, which I have in all the other pictures. So that's quite interesting, or most of the other. I've also missed a bit there. That's always fun. Sometimes I would go back and correct that, but not now I finished this entire book. This is a book for looking back, for memories, for seeing how I've improved now compared to then, although that I think is really nice, and that one is, they look really pretty, I think. I mean, it's my own work, it sounds a bit big-headed, it's not really what I'm meaning. I'm meaning compared to some of the other pictures, the way I blended the colours and things, I think I like it, so that's fun. I'm not sure I like that purple flower middle and that pink, but I've sort of reversed it on those two. But I play around with flower middles a lot, just because I want to try and make them look a bit more interesting. I've actually got a whole series of videos on how I colour flower middles in different ways. None of them like this. I remember how challenging this was with the sky background, which is interesting. I'm getting better at learning how to do a more even background, but it's really very tricky. I know I started with the hydrangeas and had loads of fun with those and these, and then the others I sort of did later. But yeah, you see my butterfly. I was kind of regretting after a while doing all the butterflies the same, because I didn't think the butterfly always matched every picture, and I wanted it to match, which is why I decided on my second book to not have them matching. And the same here with Ivy. Yes, she does stand out, which I suppose is a good thing, but I wasn't sure. I love this picture, not my version, but I really like the drawing, and I'd love to have another go, but it's quite a commitment, that page. There's a lot going on. I feel it needs a background. Personally, I quite like it when people draw brick walls in as the background as well, and things like that. Oh, it's fun. And this one looks completely different. Sometimes I wanted to sort of match them up, and for this one I didn't bother. I've actually done this page in my new version as well, so that's quite interesting. And as I say, the butterfly just randomly, however I felt on that day, so that's quite fun. But it's interesting how I've done these flowers all in different colours, whereas in my new version all of those are the same colour. Now this one I've done again quite recently because it was in the planner. I think it was this side. I might not have been the whole of the page. Anyway, but it's a really pretty picture that Johanna's drawn for us of the sweet peas, and I'd have a lot of fun in colouring that one. I'm not sure about the blue eyes on the bee, but I guess they sort of match the blue wings. I may have used Johanna's tutorial for that actually, because I can see there's a bit of pen in there, because I know she did a tutorial and it was a bit scary because there was pen. I don't really use pen, so maybe she did the blue eyes. Now we have our forget-me-nots, and I've actually used a pen for the seeds, for the sort of I guess they are seeds, and the centres, I think. I don't know what pen I used. It's quite a bright pink. It might be a Posca. But you can see how the pencil from this side has gone over here. I tend to usually put a piece of paper between the pages, but only if, say, if I was working on the next page, I would put one in here, but maybe 2 pages along, I wouldn't, and so there still becomes some transfer of colour. I don't mind too much. I could erase it, but it's gonna happen. It might happen again if the book's just squashed. A way of avoiding that, you could use some fixative on the page, but I'm not really that worried. So it's just up to you. This page is a real mishmash of colour, isn't it? I'm not sure I'm very keen on that version. I shall have fun doing that one again. Okay. Actually, this might have been Johanna's tutorial. Maybe, yeah. Maybe I used the same technique for both though, because it's got the same colour eyes and wings and things like that. But I like this page too. I love the postbox. Colouring postbox is such fun. So that was a good one. I enjoyed that, I remember. But again, the background, quite tricky with all that blue. And actually, I've used white for the dandelions here, but I think I would do that background a bit darker so the white stands out even more. But anyway, that's okay. And there's a lot of yellow flowers on this page. Oh yeah, I loved colouring those mushrooms. I remember how much fun I had. They were the first bit I did, and it was good fun. Now this is a yellow background, and I don't know if you can see it, but I can see how very, very patchy it is. It starts off green and then fades up to a yellow, but here there's so many white gaps in the yellow. I think it's okay. But it's interesting. And actually this page, I saw someone's version of this page and they'd done a gold border, which is what I've attempted to do. And I asked them what gold pencils they used for their border, and they told me 4 Prismas, dark umber, light umber, jasmine, and another one, can't remember. And so I bought those 4 Prismas, or actually I had them for my birthday. I asked for them and used them, started practicing my gold with those Prismas. Which is interesting. Yes, I do love this page, this drawing. Johanna's done a beautiful job. Again, I've used pen for some parts of the flower. I think that's probably just a Staedtler fine liner pen, so that's interesting. I probably would do them white, not pink these days, or put some white on top. But anyway, as I say, it's really interesting just to see how differently I did it compared to how I might do now. But I've done one of these since in the planner. I'm not sure which side of the page it was, but it's rather fun. Now this one I had fun with, I remember, because I wanted her thoughts to look really different, so I picked this colour scheme that's obviously mainly blue and yellows, and I was really pleased with it. And I have to say, I'm still rather pleased with the idea. And the fact that these drips I thought might have been the ink, so I did them black, and then she's having a think. And of course she's coloured the colour she's always coloured. Now the mouse, there's an absolutely beautiful version of this that Chris Cheng has done, and I think I tried to use some of her ideas on these leaves by doing some different colours, which I think worked really well. But I had to decide on my colour for House Mouse. Had to be the same as House Mouse is throughout the book, so that was but I've had a little go at doing some fur on her and stuff, so that was fun. I think she's a little bit pink on her hands and legs. I remember thinking that was a bit too pink, but yeah. Now this one took me a long time, and I was really pleased with it. I found it quite a challenge because I wasn't used to colouring with the background, so trying to think about what colours would work together with the background was quite tricky. The background could be smoother and more even, but you know, that's okay. It doesn't stop me feeling happy with it, because I know how pleased I was with it. These have got some white on, which is interesting. I think I've left the white. It's not a white pen. There's a bit of white pen on that one though, so and that one. So maybe there was white pen. It's hard to tell. So yeah, I was very pleased with that one. Now this page I have done as a video. Each item, not this specific page, in my other version of Ivy, each item is a video. Gosh, that's so different to how I did it. Interesting. So we have the butterfly there as well. So that's interesting. Now I know what some people do is colour every butterfly. There's one there too. In the book first. And that's another way of doing it. But I wrote it down because I think sometimes you might have missed one. I mean, that one's really easy to miss. So you might miss it and then you might have forgotten. So it's a good idea to write down your colours in some sort of... I wrote them in a sketchbook, but any sort of book really. I don't know why I wrote it in a sketchbook. It's not really for writing in. But again, a sort of attempt at gold, which I'm not leaving any white at this stage, so there's not looking quite so shiny. Now this has got a silver pencil around here. It's probably a Posca. And we can see House Mouse and Ivy are done in the colours that they're always in. So that was fun. And I've tried to make these leaves look a little bit more 3D by doing a little bit of shadow. But I like the water as well, so that's rather fun. And I started to put some wood grain in my wood. That's good. But you can see how this pencil line is on this page here. You can see it. There's actually a whole scratch of pencil there as well, which is interesting. But I've done a video for both, I think, definitely for these in my new book. So that's interesting. And I did them the same colour too. Ah yes, I remember being so happy with my water. And I'm looking at that thinking, yeah, I can see why I was happy. There's a lot of work in that water. But I remember having a lot of fun and doing these little dots and things like that. And then just doing different colour houses. But I think I was less enthused by the houses as I was by the water. So that was interesting. Now this page, yeah, again, a bit of an attempt at gold. But here, this is where my gold and silver improves. Now I've done a red Posca pen background, and then around every item I've done a little bit of very dark Posca red, Polychromos red, the darkest red, around each one, just to try and give a little bit of shadow. I've used quite a lot of white pen for shine, like here for example, and I've also followed some instruction. I think I may have used Helen Elliston's book actually for the gold. It's looking a lot better, a lot more sophisticated, and there's white being left. It looks much more shiny. And that one, I'm not sure whether I might have done some videos on this from this page. Definitely not the spoon. They may have come up in a planner, I suppose, but I was really pleased with that page, and having a look at it now, yeah, I can see there's so much work in that page. It's a really quite daunting page. You see how the blue is reflected in the coin and everything. It's I really thought about it, so that's fun. And I know I looked at someone else's page and I copied their version. That's right. Someone else had done it and I copied theirs. So I was inspired by them. So that sort of reflection in the coin and things like that wasn't my idea. It was somebody else's. So that's why it's so sophisticated. So that's interesting. I remember now. But I can't remember who it was. I know I credited them at the time when I posted it up in the colouring group. I'm not sure, and that one certainly was my own. It's not so good. But there we go. Right, so we have our tree house. I had a lot of fun with this water. I did it sort of green and swampy. It was such fun, I remember. And so the water lilies have got some pink, sort of brown, I guess that's Caput Mortem or something. I'm not sure why they're that colour. But anyway... It doesn't really matter. I remember all those leaves, oh my gosh, and the background took so long, but these are beautiful, I think. Really fun picture in the end, so that was good. Ah yes, this one. Now you can see I've used purple Posca, maybe you can't see. I've used purple Posca and black Posca. So I tried to do a bit of a silver, but again, I'm not really leaving white, a little bit on the crowns maybe. So I'm getting there slowly. And this one was sort of done at the same time. They're a matching pair, as you can see. I'm not sure that the pencil flowers really go with the rest of the page. Maybe I should have done something a little bit different. I don't know. When I do it again, I might. And these brooches, I remember finding the I loved doing this one, and I put white on to try and make it look like the flowers were enamelled, so I put the colour down really hard and then put some shine on them. But the others I wasn't quite so confident in doing the different gemstones and things, but I had a bit of a go, so that was fun. This one I rather liked, I seem to remember. And here we have Pika. I just did her looking just like a magpie really, so just quite plain florals. Now I remember looking at someone's version of this page, Cherry Colours I think it was, and I was just blown away by how amazing it was. But it did help me with my shadows. So if you have a look here, the back of the shelf is darker than the side, and the top of the shelf is a little bit different. My gold's getting better. It looks more confident and darker and shinier, so that's really good. Now I didn't colour this book in order, so some of the things that look better here might not look so improved later. Gemstones are quite interesting too, getting there a little bit, so that's fun. I've done this as a video, this side, from the planner, so not the specific version. But you know, that spoon is looking pretty good, isn't it? It's coming along. The silver isn't so good because I'm not leaving some white. But yeah, getting there. And again here, this one doesn't look quite so sophisticated, I suspect, although there is white left there as a shine. But I can see that I'm not quite so confident. There's not enough layers of colour, or it's not quite dark enough, you know. But it's coming along. Now this one, you see, it seems much darker, more confident. It might be because I'm using polys here, maybe ergos with the page before. But you can see where I've tried to put quite a dark part and a light part on the goblet, and shine onto this. This looks like a Helen Elliston type gemstone here with the shine. We've got ivy. So that's interesting. That also looks like a Helen Elliston because it's got yellow in the gemstone, which she advises to do. Got some blackberries, my favourite, but look, they're red like raspberries. That's okay. And these are Helen Elliston from her tutorial. They're so pretty, and the silver looks a bit better, so we're really getting a little bit more sophisticated. Now here, look, I've tried to make my snowdrops look white, which was quite fun. Don't do white flowers very often. This one, yeah, wood and gold. This page is fun. Oh, I like this one too. I'm looking forward to redoing quite a few of these pages. So that looks nice. We've got some white pen work going on. The skin tone isn't too bad, but I put her in tights so I didn't have to do skin on her legs. So we have our honey and our these I've done as videos, again not from this book. This book was finished before I started making videos, so none of these are there are not videos of any of these. So this one here, yeah, I just wanted it to be really bright. But this one, because it's a moon, what I've actually done is I've gone over the flowers and things over the black with a white pen to sort of try something different. But we've got some moonshine coming out, and then the ones on the outside are black. That's a bit different. Now this one I remember being really tough. I think I've done part of this on a planner page. Yeah, I have. I had fun with the fruits and the bowls and things like that, but the background I found really tricky. So it's quite liney up and down. Now I would have thought, I suppose it might work, look a bit like foliage. I'm not sure, but I always think this page needs a background because we're looking out into the forest, but it's not how I would do it now, but it's interesting. I think that looks almost like lime peel colour. Anyway, got some nice florals on this one. And we've got our pair of dragons. I think that's definitely done with Ergosoft. I think that maybe Johanna did a tutorial on dragons that I might have copied. I'm not sure. And then these are more sophisticated looking forget-me-nots. I actually copied a picture. I looked them up to see what they would look like and copied them a little bit, which is why they've got the white and things like that. I remember really enjoying this one, particularly down here, because obviously I always have loved doing berries. These aren't as sophisticated as how I do them now, but I still had loads of fun. And I really enjoyed doing the fire. And then look at the gold on the wings. It's looking a lot better, which is interesting. And this page too, I had loads of fun with. I remember being really proud of it. We've got a nice gold going on here, bright flowers, lots of different leaf combo colours, but it doesn't look too much of a mishmash. Somehow I achieved that. I think it's because I kept to mainly earthy colours. I'm not sure. I liked it. Oh yeah, my rainbow apparently, I think someone told me it was upside down, that the red's supposed to be at the top. I'm not sure next time I do a rainbow. I will check. And I did most of this grey because it's clouds, so I thought they might be grey clouds because it would be raining, but a bright balloon. And then we have our bee. That's quite a fun one. Not sure if I've done that one in my new version. Now, I've seen a lot of really nice versions of this page with honeycomb in the background and things. I haven't even coloured the butterfly. Look at that. Huh. How interesting. So there's that one. I did them all the same. I decided I wanted the bees to look like a sort of army of bees and be the same, which is fine, but I'm not sure what happened to that butterfly. Now this page here, I've done in my new book and I've done as a tutorial. My dragon was actually orange. I did it quite a while ago. Love doing doors, but those are available, but I haven't done this side yet, so I am aware that it might be neat to do this side. I had put it by to do, and then I had some other ideas, and Valentine's came and I was doing Valentine's things and doing things that people asked me to do. I'd forgotten about it. It will come at some point. Ah yes, I decided to do sort of autumnal colour oak leaves because I like doing those, so that was fun, and the owl and that sort of thing. So, and these sort of thought these were primroses, so I did them like that. This was quite a sophisticated one, but no background, but actually I think it looks nice without one. Now this one is a lot of fun to colour. I tried to make it look like brick with a bit of light around each one. It's not very sophisticated, but it was quite fun. I remember having fun with the shelving, but the actual bugs, I wasn't so sure of how to make them look glowy. So I think if I put a bit more colour in the background, it might work better. But you know, that's that. Ah yes, now this is a black Posca pen background. If you look very closely and carefully, you can see that the pen was running out, and it's a bit streaky. Poscas are usually quite good for not being streaky, but this one was, and it's made the page quite thick and almost crunchy. It's a really thick layer of acrylic paint, and the main problem with doing this was that we have these little lines here, and I had to redraw them all in with the silver pen, and that was a bit scary. Some of them are a bit squiffy, and it's fine, and they're bits light from the candle and things like that, so that isn't how I would do that if I did it again, but you know, it is what it is. It was a learning experience, shall we say. And what I've also noticed is the black has transferred a bit onto this page. I didn't expect that to happen with pen, but it has, so that's quite interesting. Now this page I had tons of fun with, so I drew in this background, which was a brick wall. I found it really quite easy to do because I can't draw. I could, if I tried, work really hard, spend hours, it's just not fun for me. But this was just a ruler, and I have got a video showing you how to do a brick wall, actually, a stone wall like this. Probably not using this brand of pencil, but it doesn't really matter. but there's that there if you want to have a look for it. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm not sure whether the pastel colour unicorn really works with the rest of it, but yeah. And the sort of silvers are still not really working. In fact, the golds are okay, but not as good as they could be. But you know, it's coming along. And these, because I wanted them to really stand out, they're actually in pen. They're in Posca. Now I had such fun with the fire and the crown on this page. I really enjoyed it actually, all of it, and the dragon. There is a bit of a grey smoky background, it's quite faint, but I think it works quite well. It's quite scruffy, but actually I think that's okay because it's all smoke. And our butterflies actually have some colour, and then they have dark grey over the top so you can barely see it, so that was fun. I remember being really proud of this page. And I'm looking at it thinking, yeah, because the background, I didn't have to do a background, but I decided to do a little bit. And it's my favourite green, so that helped. And it was a bit of fun. I probably would put a bit of white in areas on these now. But yeah, that was fun. Now we have some, I wanted these to look a bit like pearls. And here she is. Now I've seen this done beautifully. I think Barbara Colours got an amazing version of this with gold paint and a wall drawn in the background, but I wasn't into doing anything that sophisticated. Now this one I struggled to work out what to do with all these sorts of bits, and then I realised that these are probably smoke, so I made the background all smoke because we're in the Dragon's Tower, aren't we? And with the butterflies I actually looked up some butterflies like these and copied how they actually look to try and make them look a little bit more realistic, which was fun. And now we have another brick wall. This one maybe not quite so good, but it doesn't matter. I like this way his scales are coloured, so that was fun doing those dragons. Now we have lots of grey butterflies, because they said they're just black moths, so that's how I coloured them all. This picture I love. I've done it in my new book as well already. I wanted to make this bit in the centre look like an enamel brooch, so I've drawn some blue lines on to try and make them look like little cracks, and some white look like shine. It isn't quite right, but it was fun, and actually the dress looks rather cute. I think we have quite a dirty looking butterfly here. Now this page, I had such fun with these colours. I just picked really bright and pretty, and I really like it. I've actually did this last Valentine's Day. I think it might have been in the planner, and it didn't look anything like as nice as this one. Like, but never mind, it is what it is. Now this is a much better looking silver, isn't it? I think I used a Helen Elliston tutorial from one of her books for that. There's a lot of black in there, which I think really helps, because if you have a bigger contrast between your white and your darkest colour with a metallic, it looks much more shiny, and there's black in there, there's white pen as well. And this one's very bright and cheerful. I remember doing this, I was out, and I did this when I wasn't in, so I'm pretty sure I took a set of Ergosofts, that must have been a 36 for that, to have those two purples, and used that, and then just did the same colours over there. That was a lot of fun. Now here we have Ivy. Now in the background to this we have a silver pen. This is a Posca, silver Posca. This white has been left, there's no colour in there. And Ivy's been coloured her colours, and the butterflies, I did them both similarly coloured. There's a bit of gold around the stars, which is fun, and I had a bit of a go at a background which I tried to match on both. So getting a little bit more sophisticated there. Now this page is a rather fun one for tutorials as well. This one looks really nice, I think. That was fun. There's sort of sunrise. These small pictures like this are a really good place to experiment with things like that. See, this house, for example, I've drawn in bricks on it. Can't necessarily see that well. and this one's got a sort of mixed up coloured background, which was quite new for me too. So that's rather good. I think Susan Wimpney Berry's done a gorgeous tutorial for those curtains, if you want one. Oh yes, I had a card, a greetings card, and the background was a little bit like that, and I really wanted to try it. So it took me ages, you can imagine. Polly's, I think. I mean, it wasn't probably not the most sensible idea putting the crown in front of all that brown, but I really had a lot of fun, so that was good. I'm also not sure about this bluey greens with the olive greens, but you know, that was what I had to stick to. Here we just have some plain leaves. I think I should have matched them to one of the dragon colours. Might have looked better, I don't know. Now these pages, I've done both of these as videos, not these, but in my new book. I wanted, this side is quite dark and scary, these bits. So what I wanted in this version was to make these look bright and inviting and these look dark and scary, which is what I sort of did. And then this bit looked bright and inviting again. So it sort of reflects what's in the story. So that's fun. But yeah, I've done them all with quite different. This ice monster is in blue. He looks like proper fire, not purple and green, but reds and oranges. So they're all quite different to this. And there's, I think the bat's got galaxy wings. But the flower is really similar. Really similar. How fascinating. I think the feather's a different colour though. So if you want to do any of those from a video, I've got all of them. Ah yes, so I thought this needed a background and I just did the whole thing. It took me such a long time, and I tried to do some magic around the door with some white dots, but you can barely see them. But there's that, and I kept the dragons. I think they're similar, they're not the same colours all the way through. One of them's yellow earlier, maybe I forgot. I mean the Dragon Queen is the same, so I'm not sure. And here are the two butterflies. This one being our usual one, and then this is the friend butterfly, and I thought I would make the colours really similar. So we've got some pastels here. I don't know whether these are my Holbein pastels, I think, looking at those shades. This one is a really pretty page. I've seen it done lots of times really beautifully. I had fun with that one. And then this is quite a simple design. It's always hard to know how to colour it. Something like an envelope, which you would normally have is white, so I did it sort of yellowy. Now this page in my new book, there are videos for each of these items. Had a lot of fun. These aren't quite as, they don't look as nice, but you know. Now this was like a really bold experiment. This sort of blue and this sort of orange, but I think it works okay. I'm not sure how well it goes with the red and the purple, but I don't know. But it was just such an experiment, so bold. It just stands out to me as a sort of memory of trying something really different and sort of having a lot of satisfaction from it. Here, I absolutely loved this one. I think this sort of orange and yellow background just worked really well with the pink and purple somehow. And I was really pleased. Now I've done, I think I have done this one as a video in my new book. I'm not sure what colour I did for the background though, for that one. I can't remember. So we're nearly at the end. Got that little end, that looks quite cute. And I've coloured in some of these, that's nice. I'm obviously trying some pen there to see if it goes through. Scribble ribble there, and the last couple of things. So there's the end. I didn't do the end papers. I don't tend to because they're sort of coated. You can see how the glue is coming away, but luckily with the UK versions they're sewn so they don't fall out of the cover. So there is the book. So I hope that was interesting for you. It was interesting for me to go back and have another look through that one. I mean, obviously if you've seen my original video you may have seen it already, but hopefully the little explanations helped. But thank you so much for watching. Yeah, I hope you have a really lovely day and happy colouring.